Hello everybody, welcome to another live session. As always, we'll just give it a few minutes, chat amongst yourselves until people start coming online. If you're coming on, say hi, let me know you're there. If you're watching in the background, we'll get underway soon. Hello Elisa, thank you, can see you. Welcome, welcome. So we'll just wait for a few more people to come on before we start. That's for sure. Get myself set up. Welcome to everybody. Have a quick drink. Hello, Harvey. You're there too. Hello, hello. Okay, so we'll let the feed do its thing and we'll get underway. A few more coming on, which is nice. Please say hi. I'd love to say hello. If you've got any questions, type them in. I will do my best. Oh, he misses. I haven't seen you for so long, Harvey, either. We'll catch up very soon while you're on holidays. Don't worry. Mum and I were talking about that today. If anyone's got any questions watching or wherever, type them in. I do my best to see them, but I can't guarantee always. And certainly if I see them after the feed, I will answer you regardless, always. So we'll give it a little bit more time because I think we're just after 7. But I know there's a few people that take their time to come on. Don't forget to say hi, and anyone just watching in the background, thank you, welcome. Hang around, you might hear something that's interesting, hopefully. That's for sure. So it's been amazing weather up here, very lovely. And we're having some nice holidays up here too. All right, well look, we'll just get going I think tonight. We'll see who comes, yay, if not, so be it. But this will be available afterwards on the page and via YouTube as well, so you can catch up as need be. So I've kind of been sitting with coming on for a little while, and I've just been doing my thing as we're all doing our stuff at the moment. There's been some amazing things in ways taking place across the globe and in our own country, as many of us are attuning to. Some aren't, which is fine. But I want to touch on just a few energetic aspects at the moment. Where I will always be coming from is from the highest point. And we'll try to address the physical aspects as well so that you can have that comparison to understand where your energies might be right now. But we've been saying for some time, or I've been saying for some time, we're undergoing mass awakening right now. The bigger picture is in play, well and truly. It's something that I have been waiting for and speaking of and teaching for the last 20 years, waiting for this moment in time. Every soul here right now has agreed to be here. Full stop. Let's know that. So in this current basic energy situation at the moment, I'd just like to focus on, we're just literally on the equinox here. And equinox and solstices are important energetic portals, time periods in our global calendar. But this equinox is interesting, is that we're on the portal of moving into Libra, the energies of Libra. And Libra is always about the scales of justice, the balance. Most Librans like balance in their lives. They like to have things even keeled. And usually when we speak of a Libran energy, it's about the rebalance. It's about finding the balance within your life and bringing that sort of energy into play. And many astrologers now currently are saying this as well at this point in time. However, it's not always just the same energy that's taking place for Libra, because we're always under planetary alignments and different configurations. And this particular year, the planetary alignments are shifting, and there's been alignments we haven't seen for hundreds of years, if not longer. And I personally, and I can only say what I'm feeling, so that's what you hear tonight. Discern it, chuck out what you don't like. But my feeling for the last few weeks is that we're brewing. I can feel a momentum of swell of energy starting to build again. I know I personally have been going through my paces, going through my stuff, but which we all have to, because we're constantly evolving and shifting and transmuting our frequencies. But in saying that, I know I'm out the other side right now, for this moment of now, and I can certainly feel, as I said, this swell building. And that swell for me is will be particularly evident in October, I feel, and particularly right through to December 21. We're going into a window, I believe, of incredible intense energies. Now we know, and I've been saying it again, as many have for ages, the gamma energies are amplifying, the photonic light's amplifying. This is happening, and it has been happening all year. That isn't changing. In fact, it's probably intensifying again. So when intensification of energies take place and come into this earth plane, everybody feels it. Now, we're all under impact of that frequency loads. So for me, with this Libran aspect, I am feeling that October is going to bring much energy about the counter side of Libra, that there's always a positive and a negative in energy. And I feel we're going to be seeing the not so pleasant aspects of Libra out of balance. So we're going to be seeing injustices. We're going to be seeing all energies that are out of balance coming up into physical view. Now, we've been watching this for a while now, but we're going to see amplification. So I really feel in the next few weeks we're going to see this incredible polarization yet again of people, of energies, of anger. And we can only look at particularly Australia at the moment. Victoria is giving us a very big example of what's happening energetically. But we're also going to see this across through in America for any of those that are watching the American side of what's taking place there as well. Because, we must, and many people say, oh, don't give a toss about America. But again, on that bigger level, and I can tell you that the new earth will be birthed out of America, whether you like it or not. Okay, this is a major energy point. What they're doing right now, and the divisions and the amplifications and the polarizations are very important, which I'll move into in a moment, but they're actually amplifying and mirroring much of what's taking place in other pockets right throughout the globe. So they're kind of the big mirror, if we want to look. And so everything seems much more polarized over there if we're watching. And that was always, everything we see, there's no coincidence. Please know this, is if you're witnessing, if you're watching, if you have information coming to you, or your impulse to look, read, watch, the reason is you've got a vibrational match at some point to this. So again, with the injustices of Libra that's going to come up, with the energies of imbalance, and standing in one's power is Libra as well, finding the scales of justice, knowing about the scales of justice, and standing for balance and justice. This is the big frequencies I feel coming. And not only are they reflective now, and we always tend to look through these personality eyes of what's happening, but we're going to be having energies raised within us that are going to be all those things I just mentioned that we have been a part of right throughout every timeline, right back to Atlantis. So we're going to be impulse, we're going to be feeling the disgruntledness, the anger, the rage, the disgust, the incredulous, the whatever it is that we're feeling, like just this bewilderment, suppressed, tyranny, whatever might be coming up for you in the next few weeks to month. Don't just look local. Don't just look at this as what you're seeing now. This is actually far more reflective of energies active within you that are awaiting your review, your acknowledgement, that may be ancient. Again, we're here to now shift all frequencies. And many of us have been in the past where we've been persecuted, where we've been put under, where we've had power placed upon us, where we've been under the forces, where we've been the martyr, where we've just given ourselves over in this huge crusade. Whatever it is that we've experienced, if that hasn't been transmuted, acknowledged, and raised back into love, those frequencies are now. They're present. So some may not care about anything, which is great, doesn't matter. That's just where you're at. But again, I speak to those that may be looking or feeling, or all of a sudden they're just having this interest, or something is rising within you that you might not even know why, of what's taking place around you or within you or in that greater global aspect. Take note, just be aware, and if you're not sure, give me a shout, flick me a message. I'm happy to help where I can. But I do feel October's going to be a massive month. Not only are we coming up to the election in the US, so now this is where I want to shift gear a little bit, okay? And again, this is never to promote fear, because I don't promote fear, full stop. But truth is truth and energy is truth. So the greater picture on offer is right now also, as we are moving to greater light, we are moving to fifth dimensional energy, and I'm going to talk about the dimensions in a minute as well. But we're in this process of these old counterproductive dark energies, okay? They are being shone on, they are being illuminated by the light as it's coming in, as we've spoken of many times. It's like a massive torch shining on anything that is not love. So those who are of any form of darkness on a conscious or an unconscious aspect, where they're just playing out this energy of old that is not of love, they're being illuminated now. And so like you, and I'm not pointing to anybody, but this is what happens when the ego, which is the darker aspect, it is the part that is not of love, when it is being shone on with a torch, when it is being challenged, when it is being confronted, when it is being asked to show itself, it does not choose to do that. So it does everything but own responsibility. And so it either withdraws, defends, attacks, projects, it goes into battle, it lies, manipulates, coerces, it does everything in its power to deflect away from itself. Now, whether that's you, whether that's people you know, whether that's on a greater image playing out before you. This is what's happening. So again, I believe in that way, October, we're going to see more of that coming to the surface, because this is a huge unveiling of darkness right now. Again, as I said, this is not a fear thing, but there has been much coercion, much manipulation, much that has been taking place in our world for a very, very, very long time, that most people have been completely ignorant to, and sometimes apathetic to. Because the old saying, particularly here in our country, is, well, if it's not in my backyard, I don't care. I'm just going to get on with my life. But the bigger picture is, energy affects everybody. You cannot be separate. You are not separate ever. We're one. So everybody will be impacted, be it this big or this big. It doesn't matter, but that soul avenue where you're at and how much you're affected by are the frequencies that are awaiting your attention. Okay? So we're in this dimensional shift, and I want to talk about the dimensional side of things now, because as we know, the light is coming in. Why it's coming in, we know we are moving to 5D, fifth dimension, okay? Now, the dimension between 5D, 3D is obviously 4D. Now, dimensions remain dimensions. They don't change. They remain the energies that they are, and they are frequencies within frequencies of that dimension. So my feeling, from what I know and what I understand, is there are 7 substations, so to speak, within a dimension. There may be more, but I feel 7. 7's a number that just sort of transgresses and transverses many, many planes. So in saying that, what we're seeing is 3D, where we've existed for so long, is really shutting down, if not completely shut down now. But there are many souls. Okay, this is where I want you to kind of understand what's happening. The soul chooses the resonance, the vibration that serves it for its lessons and teachings. Okay, so every soul chooses the vibration of the dimension that it is in, and where it chooses to play the game of free will, which is what this journey's been about. So there are many souls who chose to awake early, to wake up and to move forward and to progress towards varying and higher vibrations in accordance to their blueprint that they contracted to prior to incarnation. And there are many souls who have chosen and still are choosing to remain resonant to lower vibrations. Now, some time ago, I said we will be witnessing a great chasm forming, a great divide taking place as souls begin to awaken, and we find more souls awakening, and we find those souls who are choosing not to awaken. And there is no comparison. There is neither good nor bad ever when we're coming from love. It is just a choice. Okay? Now, we also have the free will choice, which is what the Earth game is about. So if we're in free will, we can be overriding our soul choice. Our soul may be propelling us and pushing us toward awakening, but we are choosing to hold on with gritted teeth to our resonance of that which is the ego. Again, we don't judge. That's just the way it is. But the bigger picture is we are all being called to 5D. We're all going to the 5th dimension. So we are the ones making the movement toward that. So 5D isn't this great place. It isn't this great experience that will just land and lob in your field and just turn up one day, nor it is a country that you go to or another planet that you go to. It is a consciousness. It is a vibrational dimension of consciousness. So the movement towards that is through your free will to choose to raise your frequencies to reach that new consciousness that is ever present. It's not just forming, okay? It's always been there, but we are awakening to it, and we are learning how to make choices of our own personal creation that will gain our momentum and movement towards that new higher vibration. Now, I'm hoping this is making sense. So if it is, just someone give me a thumbs up. If there's any questions, I'll just check. Let me know if you want clarity, because this is really important. So here we are now in the midst of the transition. It's happening, it's real. This is it. There's no turning back. This is greater than us, and this is not real. This whole world is not real as we see it to be. Okay, we're playing an energy game. So with that knowing, we can pull out of the drama. And again, remember, ego likes drama. It likes everything chaos, confusing. It likes anger. It likes everything less than love. So if you're seeing stuff in your world that's not of love, know you're playing and engaged in ego. That alone is enough to say, oh, hang on a minute, where am I? That's the choice. Do I continue to play and watch and join into this ego game? And you can, and creating there. And sometimes we must, because we learn and we can recognize when we're in ego that we don't want to be there. And we can then say, well, hang on a minute, it was nicer where I was. I'll make the conscious choice to move back there. Now that's an empowered lesson. So again, ego has its place. It's not a bad, negative thing. It's just a choice we're now making whether we want to play there or not. Now, as I said, that chasm that I spoke of, and many will know what I'm talking about, it's been working its way forward, and it's going to be, again, with these energies of October right through to December. I can really feel that chasm widening, and we're going to have even more polarization taking place. So what does that mean? It means those who are choosing to stay in 3D or even upper 3D to low 4D, they're going to have some very torrid, chaotic, messy games, because that structure, that paradigm, that dimension is ceasing. It is cessating now. It is just completing of itself. Our souls have said we are not choosing to be part of that. So we're letting all these structures and everything we've ever known those frequencies to be and represent will fall away. And so the souls who are trying to hold on and play that old game are going to be using even more power and more aggression and more of their old tools and arsenal to attempt to maintain it, because they can feel on some level, might not be here, but they can feel on some level they need to be in control. So this kind of alludes then, if you can see what's happening in Victoria. Now, if you're watching, and you can watch from a distance without be very neutral as best you can, just to observe, because it's quite fascinating to see this play out. And they're talking about amping up police powers and powerful presences of even citizens now to be able to go in and be acting like policemen. And there's all these crazy things that are taking place. But this is the energy I'm referring to. This is this need to hold on and control, because the days of control are just falling away. We're all going to be empowered. So here's this end of the spectrum on offer. And there will be many that want to play there, okay? So just be aware of that. But you as an individual have the choice whether you want to or not. And this is where your true creative power lie and what you're waiting to remember, okay? So fear holds you there, all aspects of fear. And I know many people get confused with fear. So your doubt, your confusion, your headiness, all the stuff that just is not love is what will continue to play with that aspect. Your power lie in the moment of your choice, your throat and your sacral chakra, to choose to make a new creation, to choose to try something different. So if you want to increase your vibration, if you want to move higher towards the fifth dimensional vibration equally now on offer, then you, as we have to put the effort in to do that. We have to be acknowledging, listening, feeling, just, feeling what's happening in our being, what's happening in our world, and how we choose not to either play that or to move. And if we choose to move, then we have to be addressing what needs the balance within us. We have to be honest. We can't pretend anymore. We have to be a willing participant, and bring in that divine masculine, that positive masculine energy to dare to change, to try to move through a fear, to dare to do something different in a different way, and trust the process. I was only saying to my daughter today, who's, well, probably all of them really, but one in particular, she's had a lot of fear in her life, as we do, and it was a big thing for her to actually, as a not saying just, but a hospitality worker, renting, doing all those things that you do to survive and to manage. But to save her money, she's really made some changes. She's listened. I've seen the changes. She's moving through her fears over the last 12 months, and she's dared to really push herself through a fear of money and buy a car, her first car. Now, it may sound small to some, but this is a big step for her. So as I've said to all my kids for a long time, and anyone, fear is but a thought. That's all it is. And it's your thought. So it's no big gloomy doomy thing out there beyond you. It's just something inside you. And the minute you actually own it, you take the edge off it completely. And you take its power away, because you shifted the vibration to it by acknowledging it simply. So in her movement forward to dare to go to a bank and dare to get a loan and to do all these dares through fears and keep pushing herself through her positive masculine, she gets her car, everything's falling into place, and the joy and happiness that she's experiencing is unbelievable. And as I said to her today, can you see now where I've always tried to show you and to guide you? And this is for all of us, that when we dare to jump through a fear, it's not that happiness is never there. It's not that 5D is not there. It's always present. But if we're only focusing on the fear, and if we're only focusing on the less than and the less than love aspects, then how can we possibly see the joy and all the wondrous things that are equally available in the moment? It's up to us and our focus of attention and our willingness to make movement. So she said, I can see that, absolutely. Because the joy that's instantly available when you dare to jump a hurdle of fear is ever present and waiting. And the only thing that stops us is us. We're only the block to the growth and the movement forward. So our movement is our truth and honesty to the self of where we are, and to gaining those qualities and those truths if we need them, looking for the people around us that will support us. So in this month to come and in the months to come, as I said, the amplification's coming. So you may be even more challenged. And always, when we're daring to step up our vibration, you will be challenged, okay? Don't think it's an easy walk in the park. It's not. And the reason is that you're testing yourself. We're only ever testing ourselves to our ability to be able to hold our balance and the vibration that we're now choosing to be. So we test ourselves if we can hold that new vibration, how far we dip. We may have to go down, but we can always come back up, you know. Don't get locked in, and again, watch your thoughts. If you go back down again, oh my God, I'm back in that place. I thought I'd done this. We've got all this old ego stuff happening that wants you to fail, that wants you to have that, oh, see, I can't do this, I'm hopeless. No, that's the voice of ego. That's the challenge, to recognize that and go, whoa, hang on a minute. Aha, I hear you. Thanks. Testing myself again. Change the talk, change the thought, put it out there again, step it up. And that's all it is. You know, the stumbling block is not anything outside of you. The stumbling block is only within you. And it's only here. It is all the thoughts that you have. And every time you're expanding, that test becomes finer and finer and finer and more subtle and subtle and subtle, I can tell you. Okay? But that's the test. And the test is because this time, when we move into 5D, when our vibration chooses to shift to 5D, we are free of the ego. We won't be playing the ego game anymore. And so many of us are choosing, and this has been one of my lessons of late, is to work my way through all the variances of frequencies on offer and vibrations, to be able to hold my balance, to be able to see and feel what that means to me, because I know what's coming. And there's going to be many, many more waking up in the next 12 weeks. We're going to see another huge amount of souls coming online, waking up through the unveilings of all those darker energies that have been playing their way through unconsciously for thousands of years. As those veils are lifted and people begin to wake up, some of the unveilings are going to be quite shocking and daunting. In fact, it will throw many, because they'll go into thinking it's not true, this is a lie, how could this be? Because ego will say, I know everything, this is rubbish, because how would I not know that? That's ego. So the heart is saying, be as neutral as you can be. Hold your balance now, get your energy fields intact now, know your resonant balance as best you can, so even if you're not being directly affected, the wave of energy, like a pebble in a pond, the ripple effect will still be coming toward all fields. So we are being asked to hold our higher balance, hold our steadfast path as best we can. And by knowing us, we can easily realign ourselves. Have our tools ready, get used to them, practice them regularly now. And again, this isn't the fear, this is the self-maintenance. This is looking after you. This is, for me, self-love. Because if I'm looking after myself, I know exactly where I am and what I can manage and who I can be and support. And that goes for all of us. So, in very interesting times ahead. And I feel look out for the 10-10, a huge day. Definitely the 11-11, always massive. But the 21st of the 12th, that window through to Christmas, we're going to see some really amazing energies take place. And the next couple of years, we're going to see this all still continue to play out. But the reality is, as I said earlier, the higher you dare to be, the higher the frequency you can hold, the less impact upon you or your world. Now, in saying that too, as we know, there's going to be some heavy-duty choices that may be coming to your world, your being, to those around you. Again, in the awakening period, we realise, as many of us do, that things just can't be the same. People can't be the same. They can't exist in our world. So we have to kind of wake up that some people just have to go. We also have to be very aware in these next few weeks of our diet and our hydration. Okay, diet absolutely, because I don't know about you guys, but I've really been feeling the difference of how I've needed to be clean in my diet. There's some things now I just am not tolerating again, and really keeping my water load up. Water is vital. It's your fluid Remember, you're over 70% water in your makeup. That needs to be held, but it's also water as a conductor of energy. So it's your flow, okay? So keep the flow moving, keep everything flowing through your system. Literally, as I said, keep your alignments flowing, your energies flowing to keep you maintaining. Now, how do you know? I think I've already discussed this, but I just want to clarify it. How do you know when you're shifting the vibrations? Easy. You feel lighter. You feel better. You just feel weights lifted off you. You feel at ease. You feel peaceful. You start to see joy around you, within you. You start to see ease of synchronicity. You start to see ease of manifestation. You start to feel the joy just all around you. Your world looks clearer. The skies look brighter. Everything's louder. The birds are singing with far greater clarity. You know, this is fifth dimension consciousness, that you can be present now in this current world in fifth dimension. As I said, it's not a place you're going to. It's a place of being. It's a state of being. And like, you know, the ultimate test is how to remain the Buddha within the midst of chaos. That's what we're testing ourselves to be. So that's how you know. And you may be fleetingly having these moments. You may be in them for a couple of days and dipping down again. That's the test of how to hold the frequency. So it's not that you're doing anything wrong. Again, that's ego's voice that wants you to think, can't do this, failing, as I said. No, it's the test of going, oh, okay, fluctuating my energies. I've sort of come down the spiral a little bit. You might have to go down just to transmute, to acknowledge some other energies you missed. You might just be going down for another learning. You might just be there to experience, and then you come back up again. This is going to be quite normal. Okay, so don't freak out. Don't expect to get there, stay there. Yes, I'm here. No, you'll just set yourself up for a fall. Have no expectations, have no plans about this future. Full stop. That's going to be your easiest ticket through. No plans. Now that throws ego straight away, because it likes to be organised, controlling, and it likes to know exactly where it is and its safe boundaries, and it likes to have everything exactly where it is to remain okay. No, this is like now breaking out of those limitations to go, I've got to trust, I've got to have faith. I don't know where I'm going, but I have to listen to what my inner spirit is telling me and guiding me and showing me the path to be. That's the movement forward. That's fifth dimension. Okay, and we'll be having that in varying frequencies according to our vibration. We'll be tested on that, absolutely. But again, you know, as I said, just have no expectation that you will be doing this up and down the spiral, and that's okay, because it's fluid. As long as you're moving, you'd rather be moving than stuck, I can tell you. So allow these moments, listen to what's happening within you, balance that, love it. You know, really listen to how you're speaking to yourself. This is absolutely vital. Listen if this is going busy, 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 busy. If this is what you're listening to, how can you hear this? We've got to be able to still this, to feel, and feeling is the voice of the heart. It's so quiet. It's got you. It's got you back. You're fully connected to love. You have never left love, as I wrote today. But it's learning how to balance those frequencies. But it's really ultimately the mastery of this. That's what this walk's about. The mastery of your thinking, your thoughts. Because when you master that, you've mastered everything. Because when you've mastered the mind, you can be neutral. Absolutely neutral. And yes, it is possible to exist in this world and not have a thought in your head. In fact, it's wonderful. You know, it's taken me years, and I was there too. You know, I don't say this and say, oh, well, you know, aren't I good or whatever. No, man, I've been the heaviest, darkest person walking this planet, and it's taken me batshit years to get here, and lots of hard work and lots of really trauma moments. But I chose that. We all choose our path. So it's even simply accepting that. And accepting that moment where you choose and you realise you're the sole creator of your world, it ceases the blame. It ceases you looking outside of yourself to project off and not accept ownership and responsibility of self. the minute we do, oh my God, how everything changes. Everything changes. So this is this incredible journey we're on. So as I said, we're all moving. Now, the other thing, I've said this in the last live, I think too, is just to be aware of death. We will see many more deaths, okay? I really do feel there will be many more deaths to come, and not necessarily of corona at all, okay? Remember, every person who's choosing to leave the planet, regardless of the label, is leaving because their soul has agreed to that date and time. So again, in that moment, we can pull back from fear because you too have organised an exit date. Now, we don't need to know when that is. Why would we? Because if we do, we're in fear and we're worrying and we're going to control outcomes and we're not living. So even kind of to swing that thought on its head, and this is what I want everyone to start practicing. Whatever's coming up, try to swing it around to a new way of thinking about it. Try to tweak it a little into another, just slightly more positive or greatly more positive way of looking at whatever that is for you. But for me, if you're looking at, well, everyone's got their exit date like our entry date, I'm not in control of that. So if I'm not in control, I can just let that be. I can just let it go and know that when the time is, it is, and I'll work through that as it comes. But, you know, right now, why would I not want to live? Why would I not want to experience everything that's good that I possibly can dream of to experience in my world? You can. What stops you? Your thoughts, your beliefs, other people's conditions that have been programmed or you've agreed to accept and allow. It's up to you again how you want to deal with that. You can continue that, that's fine. But you'll play the game accordingly and you'll play on the vibration that resonates to that belief. All right, so this is that dimensional aspect again. Your beliefs, your thoughts will define and create the vibration of where you choose to play the game. So to choose to rise, to raise, we must be raising the vibrations of our thoughts. We must be letting go the old that drags us back. That's the only way forward. And, you know, again, I've written this many times and I will continue to say it and write it. Love is the answer. What was the question? Now, the reality is, again, if you see, and many people say, oh, I feel helpless right now, you know, I wish we could do this. And what I'm going to go back to what's happening, particularly in Victoria, because I think it's a great example at the moment to everybody and how different the energies of the states are, okay? So this is, again, showing you even the differences of frequencies within Australia. But again, everything's a mirror, always a mirror. So if you're really heavily engaged in the fear of whatever's coming out of tyranny, of power, of police manhandling, of vaccinations coming mandatory, of 5G towers, of whatever is being promoted as, you know, whoa, look out. Please know that's fear. Fear, 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 fear. So if you're going in, and even some of these peaceful protests I've seen, you know, people getting out there, and of course we need to be, part of waking up is stepping up and to be conscious and to really looking at the situation and to discover our voice and dare to stand up. Absolutely, that's part of the beginning of the growth. But if you're past that and you're able to see from the heart, when you see someone coming as a peaceful protest, and I've kind of watched this energy interestingly through Insta or, you know, on some of those video tubes things, is that many souls are choosing to go out with low frequency to coerce and play the game of capturing and manipulating or showing up, say, a police officer and getting them to be angry and aggressive for them so that they can capture it on film and say, oh, look at what they're doing. Look at how I've been attacked and look how they've treated me. And then there's this whole big, dirty, nasty, yucky energy that we're witnessing on a film, okay? Now, this is where I really want to pinpoint the energy refinement part. Because, yes, we must be standing up in our assertion and our power and knowing what is right and is true. But We do it from truth, that is love. When we're standing up and we choose to be heard, it is from the voice of our power of truth, not from a lower base chakra or solar plexus ego manipulative energy that wants to go out and coerce and literally play the same game in a slightly different way, but it's the same energies of what they're wanting to show what this other person's doing. If it's aggression and they get angry and they start yelling about, you're taking my liberties away and you're this, and they get aggressive and they're angry, that's the same energy as the anger that the police may be showing them. So here's the mirror. So that's a no-win situation. And truthfully, there's no love involved there. So this is why things can't change and they won't change. To make any change, and I've done this many times in varying ways with powerful or overpowering people, is that when you come from love, but you're honest to yourself and you stand in your truth and you say what you need to say, but there's no other energy but your truth. You really look at yourself solidly first before you enter the voice, and you ask for the guidance of truth, and you ask for love to flow through you. That when you speak, you will know when you're coming from love, because there is no anger at you. There is no heaviness, there is no war, there is no win-win, voice, yell situation. Whenever that's happening, it's ego versus ego. When you stand in your power of truth, that other being or beings will stand there. They might not like what you're saying, but I can tell you there'll be no argument. They will either be quiet and hear it will be drip feeding into them, then they may speak, okay? Or they will choose to walk away. But that's the difference. That's the difference when love is in the equation. There's no clash or crash. So that gives you a new dynamic, hopefully, to look at in your own world, within your own self, but within your personal world and in the global world. So there's much that's taking place here of ego versus ego. Now, the other thing I'm seeing in the world, which is interesting, is, again, ego is just this common denominator, full stop. That there are many souls that I'm seeing speaking the spiritual side of stuff in their hopes and dreams. And particularly I'm watching this in America, in truth, where, they're saying, yes, but, and this, I think this is another example for those interested, but in America, many are saying defund the police, and there's an aggression side of that which we don't go into. That's just ego. But there's some in their own way of their truth that are saying, we have to defund the police because we're going into this great, beautiful society where we won't need the police, and it's all going to be community, and we're going to look after each other, and it's all going to be great. And I've heard many individual people speak across the last few months about this in the US. Now, that's all great, but this is this spiritual imbalance where ego is involved in the spirituality to watch out for the self as well, and for groups. Because while I can hear the essence of what, and particularly this one lady was saying, I can hear in her heart that there is an essence of what she's saying for the future. She's read it, she's heard it, she knows it, whatever it was, wherever she's reiterating from, and that's what it felt. I get what she's saying. She's speaking 5D energies, love, light, abundance, equality. Yep, we know that. That's what it is. But, and here's the but, while ego is present in us all, that can't happen. We won't see those beautiful aspects of community, grace, support, love, manifestation, abundance, equality, equity, all those terms that are of 5D. They will not be present in your world while you still hold ego. While you are still creating from ego, you are not of love, full stop. So this journey is all about just not going in to dive and to look from it and to sort it out, and don't have that energy of fear about, I've got to get rid of it. No, that's the old talk, and that's a fear-based talk. But that acknowledgement of, well, it's part of me, so show yourself, and I'm ready to take back the ship. I'm ready to take the reins again and start managing you, and not let you just rule my world, and let that happen. This is where your power is, okay? So only you know what you feel, only you know what you think, and only you can shift your vibration. So 5D, again, there's many beautiful souls who are really, really highly evolved in love. And I've seen their particular websites and they speak beautifully of love and I can feel their loving energies. But at the same time, I see many on their sites writing, oh, thank you, and I feel that love and this is what I needed to hear. But I'm finding difficulty doing that. I can't quite get there. And this is again why, unless you know what love is and unless you recognize what your ego is, you can't truly move into love. So again, we can talk our way, we can talk our talk, but it's being our talk, walking our talk to understand that. So again, to move forward, we have to know who we are. The old words, man, know thyself. That's it. So whatever you're seeing in your world is your mirror, be it positive or not so positive. It is a reflection back to you. So if you're seeing anger outside of you, what anger is within you? Is it aggressive anger? Is it passive anger? Okay, there's always the two ends of the spectrum. Is it cowardly out there? Well, what's happening on a power end within you? Are you the same? There's mirrors everywhere. And if we start and we can just look at those mirrors, this is where you shift. Because what you are is what you attract. That's it. Okay? So we have this great journey ahead of us. It is a great journey, but the reality is we must do and put in the effort. Because, I think it was today I wrote, there's no silver platter here at all. Only we can dare to make that movement into the next vibration and beyond and beyond and beyond. But it's ready, it's waiting, and it's all available. Okay, so I'm just going to flick through because I haven't seen if there's any questions. And if there's a question, please type it up because I'd rather answer now. No questions. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, if anyone's got a question, pop it on. I'll stick down that end because I think that's the most recent question or comments. Thank you for all your comments. They're lovely. I guess my question to you is, does that make sense? Is there anything of that doesn't make sense? I try to make this as user-friendly as possible, I hope, and as current as possible as I hope. But I guess I do want to, I'm just going to go on a little bit here about the dark and the light because I think this is important to know. And again, this is not a fear tool. Ever. I never, ever support fear. The reality is that, as I said earlier, to move to 5D, we must be addressing ego. And ego is all layers of fear that fear represents, and it comes through in many, many forms and ways. So when we're talking about the dark and these darker beings, and there have been this game that we've been playing for eons, has been a throw from Atlantis that we've been playing out, and truly what we're witnessing now is the reverse to that, and it's almost like the rising of Atlantis again, of the energies that we initiated in Atlantis, where we were beings of light, where we were attuned to our source, where we could cross the veils and we knew our high frequencies, and we were amazing and we remembered that. And it was in Atlantis over the lifetimes there that we chose ego and to devolve our frequency and continue to devolve that ever since. So in this 3D, 4D world, anything of ego is on offer, and that means known and unknown. So beyond the physical plane too, there are energies and there are entities that have chosen also not to cross over to 5D and beyond, and to continue to play in the unseen, the higher 4D world of some darker frequencies. The darker frequencies have incredible manipulative powers, and they only ever will attack, or not attack, they will only ever leech onto, hook into souls whose auras are really open and shot, and they're usually the people who are in great chaos and fear, and those who aren't maintaining their fields. And many of us won't until we start to wake up. But they will pick people who are very fearful, because fearful people are generally powerless people. They have no faith and trust in themselves or in anything. They're usually depassionate. A lot of them have depression, and I don't like the word depression. I always say depassion, because that's what depression is to me. You are lacking a light. You are lacking your flame. So these darker forces are, as I said, of the unseen world, but there are those of the conscious physical form who are very aligned and are also very highly attuned to alchemy and wizardry and power, but they're choosing it and have chosen it for a long time to misuse their power. And guess what? We all have too. Most of us who are powerful have all had a lifetime or more that we've misused our power as well. And that's again why many of us fear remembering our power, okay, and remembering our true mastery, because on another level we've got this memory that's going, oh, hang on a minute, I don't want to go there again. And we also have shame, guilt and judgment upon ourselves, and fear of the judgment of source above. So, as I said, this current present time now, believe it or not, is the cessation of those energies here on earth. The darkness that we have been witnessing and been unconsciously governed by this lifetime is now ceasing. And so in this next month to come, and this is what I feel by the amping of energies, those beings are going to be doing their utmost to do anything to thwart the light and the growth. So we're going to be seeing some interesting times. However, as I said, and I've always said, the lights, there's no battle, and a lot of people might be writing about this and describing this as a battle of light and dark. It's not, because the light never goes to battle. The light just is, and the light just shines, and it doesn't have any battle because it's love. And in that energy and vibration of love, there is nothing less than love. So it has nothing to fight because it's purity. So it's only the devolution, the energies, those lower vibrational energies that are struggling because they fear the light that's going to shine on them. And that's this battle that's going to be taking place that you may well be seeing or a part of. And there will be some of those of you out there that will be and are meant to be witnessing it. So just to be aware, I'm happy to be here to anybody always. You know, I've walked this path, I get it, and I've worked with the dark, and I know what the energies and the frequencies are. And I don't say that lightly because it's not been a pleasant game for me, but it's part of my training. And I'm being absolutely honest. I've confronted the darkest of dark, and again, what I learned out of that is there is nothing to fear but fear, and love is your tool in your armory that conquers all, always. So aim for love in everything that you do. So I do have a question here from Jen. I'm having trouble staying in that mindset. Jen, just to confirm, the mindset of being positive, of being out of fear, I'm guessing, so I'm not quite sure. If you could just confirm, because you might have written this a while ago when I was talking about something. Hang on, there's another question. I know I have to let my faith be bigger than my fear, but, oh, okay, here we go. I'm having trouble staying. Yep. Okay, so Jen's comment or question is, I know I have to let my faith be bigger than my fear, but I'm having trouble staying in that mindset. Any advice, please? Well, that's the journey in itself, Jen. Okay, yep, Marianne, I'll see yours and I'll get to yours in just 1 second. Faith is a huge energy, you know, because again, it's like the energy we have been taught to turn our back away from, to turn our face away from, and not to believe in. And, you know, to have faith or to trust in something unseen was considered illogical. You know, again, we were living in this time for a long time that has always said seeing is believing, and where we've had to prove and validate and show evidence and, you know, make everything very physical. And to find anyone that has absolute faith is amazing, because again, the majority of the population doesn't. We think we do to a point, and we probably do to a point, but to have the faith for us to truly move is the journey out of fear. Okay, so it's baby steps. That's all I can say for everybody. When you're ready to try, aim for something small, because you don't want to jump too far and too quick. Because if you fail, or you see yourself fail, or it doesn't, the outcome isn't what you expected, then you tend to devolve back down again, and you may devolve further back down the spiral. And then the ego kicks back in again and tells you, see, as I said, you can't do that. So why are you trying? You can't do this. And as I said earlier, I think, Jen, the easiest way to faith to start with is just to hear what you're saying. And for me, this is where I started. Because I used to think years ago, oh, I'm a positive person, I'm a happy person, until I actually wrote a list one day, and I picked a person in my world who was positive, and I wrote the list of all her positive qualities and all her negative qualities, and then I wrote mine. And it was such an eye-opener to see all the negatives that I wrote about myself. And what a mirror these two pages were, or this beautiful person and I were, because her list of positives were the same length as my negatives, and vice versa. And when I recognised that list, it was like, oh my God, you've just been telling yourself crap for so long. Who are you? Like, what the hell? This is what you're really believing in. This is where you're giving your energy to, which was all the negatives. So as I started to work on those, then I started to see little changes. And then as I started to see little changes, then it gave me that ability to dare to try a little bit more. And then as I chose to try a little bit more, and then I got that positive return, then it gave me that trust and that ability to have faith in myself, okay? Not faith yet in necessarily the upper force of who I am, but faith in me that I could achieve something, that I could achieve an outcome that I desired. And then as I gained more and more in that, then I was able to go further afield and start asking for the help. And many of us ask for the help, you know, and we believe we've got the faith in that help, and we put it out there with goodwill and good heart and our love in that moment. But what counters that always is our doubt. And the moment your doubt creeps in is the moment you've lost the faith. You've lost the belief in you. And that's what I would rather say. It's the belief in you rather than belief even in spirit, because truthfully, you are spirit. We aren't separate. So I think that process forward is starting the belief in you and listening to why you can't believe you. Where does that come from? And it's amazing, again, how like a little detective you can be to see where you'll start to hear things from your parents or from other people that all of a sudden flash in, that are those blocks of why you don't have faith in yourself. There might be conversations that you hear of someone telling you how you just can't do that, and how you're silly, or whatever it is that you've got stored in you that prevents you believing in you. And I think believing in yourself is what brings you the faith in everything and the greater picture, and then that greater faith of all that is. I hope that helps. But anyway, you can write back if it's not. So I'm just going to have a look at Marianne. Hold on. Can't see more. Okay. I hope Marianne says, I'm incredibly exhausted right now. In fact, I cannot recall any time in my life when I felt so tired. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Couple of reasons. This again is universal. Again, the light coming in now is unbelievable. We have not ever been in this position in time or space, ever. We have not ever done what we are doing physically and metaphysically now ever before. So as I said, when that light's coming in, it's coming into you whether you've asked for it or not. It is happening. And so those energies coming into you of the higher vibration are just starting to rip apart. They're starting to disintegrate, rise, shift, break through paradigms, old matrices and energies that your soul's asking for, ready for. And there's so much going on in the universes within us. Because we can't see them, we don't realize it's happening. We have got so much energy we're expending on the inside in transiting now and actualizing our 12 chakras, our 12 DNA strands, and our 12 solar suns. Now this is massive. So that alone is exhausting in itself. Then we are also then impacted by the frequencies that are around us of the greater change, the collective change. So again, if we're not looking after ourselves energetically, then we're just allowing so much lower frequency, misinformation, tangled frequencies, you name it, crap, into our field. So even if we are looking after our energies, okay, and we're doing that daily, twice a week, whatever, we know we've got to practice, whatever that be for you. The minute you've got doubt, the minute you start having negativity, the minute you've got fears coming through, you're punching potholes through your field. So anytime you've got potholes, incoming stuff that can then drain you. If you're not cutting ties, big one, okay? We must be cutting our ties to everybody. And it's not cutting them out of our life. Please know that it's just freeing your energy so that you can be clearer and freeing away what's not yours. Is that if these energies you're allowing into your field, that they are hooking in and they're draining you and you're letting that happen, well, your system will be drained. If you're not looking after your system, your computer, and like a computer, you must be plugged into power to maintain yourself. And it must be grounded for those circuitries to flow effectively. Same with us. We have to find our source of power, whatever that is for you. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to find what's right for you. But ground these frequencies, okay? Ground them as best you can into the grids now of the Earth Mother that will support you. And that's a good mantra to say now, because she's not 3D and she's not very terra anymore. She's raised. So just ask to be grounding your energies into the grids of the Mother now that supports your highest frequency. Okay, so then you've set your system up to be looking after yourself, to receive, to flow, and I can tell you only yet again, violet flame is your friend. Love and violet flame are your two greatest ally metaphysical tools, alchemical tools for instant shift of lower frequencies to a higher frequency. Every time, instant. The minute you believe, so it is. The minute you doubt it, down you go again. But that's the test, okay? You can't be perfect straight away. So we keep creating these opportunities to learn and just see them as an opportunity, not a great big major test, but you know, they are. But again, it's how you respond or react is going to be paramount to how far you dip or how far you don't. So listening to and feeling where you are and knowing, well, have I gone down a little bit? Okay, I need to bring myself up. I have to learn not to doubt this. Do I have doubt? Be honest. Yes, I do. Tweak it a bit. Speak some words that release that doubt a little bit. Raise that doubt a little bit. Okay? And again, and I've said this many, many times, and this is always important too. If you're feeling really crap and if you're feeling really overwhelmed and you're in a space where it just feels like shit and you've had enough and you're exhausted, if you continue to attempt to be positive and say these things that you know you're not believing in, you are wasting your energy and time. Stop with positive mantras that you know you don't believe in. You know, we must cut to the chase and be truthful now. Your soul, your higher self, your great God self would rather you say in that moment, you know, right now I'm not feeling great. I am feeling this, this and that. And I've said this, I am really pissed off. I have had enough and I don't want to play this game anymore. And this is what's happening. And I know I'll come out of it. But right now I want to sit in my crap. And that's where I'm at. And I put up my flame as best I can. But sometimes I haven't. But I've just said, just let me be. And I will come out of it when I'm ready. But this is where I'm at. Well, your heart, your soul, your greater self goes, well, that's the truth. I hear your truth because you're being honest. Your vibration goes up. And that's why when we release and we let go, we feel a bit better. Because that feeling better is you just raised your vibration. As opposed to trying to talk your way through it and make sure you're all okay, and I'm doing this and I'm doing my mantras and I'm trying this and I'm going to fix it with that, and yep, I'm saying this and it's all going to get better and I know I'll be right and yes, I'm okay, when you know you're not. There's no point. So bring it back to truth. Bring it back to your truth, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, and it doesn't matter what anybody else knows or says. Who cares? And you'll learn not to care eventually about that. But you have to be honest to you, and then watch the difference in your energy. Okay? So I hope that helps, Mary Ann, with your question a bit. Are there any other questions before I head off? Because thank you for hanging around, everybody. I hope this is helping. But that's what I always intend to do when I come on these hours or whenever. And I love getting questions because it feels like people are listening, or I'm here for a reason. I mean, I know I'm here for a reason, but you know what I mean. It's nice to know that it's being received well and people are getting it. And I'd rather always offer any skill or bit of hope to keep you moving along the path, because you know it's can be a tough old journey at times, but it's okay. You're all getting there, and it's all divine where you're at. Okay, well, I think that looks about it, but thank you all. It's been an hour, so I might let you all be. I'm just scrolling to make sure I haven't missed anybody. I think that's it. Sure, that's... Oh, hang on, there's some more. Oh, you're welcome, Jen. Thank you for your comment. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. So I'm just checking because I keep seeing these little things come up. Oh, thank you, Elisa. Okay, everybody, as I said, off you go, see how you go. Be kind, be gentle to yourself, be kind to yourself and to everybody. Love is the answer. What was the question? That's it. Keep that in the background of your mind. When you're creating, before you set out your creations, just self-check yourself to go, is this making my heart sing? Is joy here? Is love here? Is peace here? Is grace here in my words and my vision? And if it's not, rejig. Do it again. Come back for another reset. Hang on. Yes, breathe. Oh my gosh, that's a great comment. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Yes, breathe and just be in peace with your journey. And that is the key, all right? No matter what, you are exactly where you're meant to be now. All is truly divine, okay? And when we allow that, just watch how the flow can shift. Absolutely, to your betterment. So breathing is vital, and breathing is the greatest meditation you can give, and the best thing to center your thoughts and clear your head down into the heart chakra again, just to give yourself some time simply to be. Yeah, it is. Holes being punched, absolutely. And that's what we are doing to ourselves, and we want to maintain that auric field that we are. So check your fields as best you can. See them as a sphere now around you, or a big tube of light, and find the image or have it in your mind that best suits you, that you can just picture that image and you know you're sealed and protected. Because this is the beauty again of energy. And I'm so passionate about energy, and it just changes your life, is that when whatever you believe is now done, that's it. So if you believe, you have an image in your mind, and for you that image means I am anchored, sealed, I'm in the grid, I've got that beautiful pillar, that pole, I've got the tube, I've got the circle, the sphere, whatever it is, I'm in that space, I can see the colours, the lights, I can see my angels, whatever. Yep, I'm there. The minute you see it, it's done. That's it. That's where you're at, and that's the vibration you are in immediately. If you doubt it, then you've just opened yourself up to a lower vibration and those potential creations on that vibration. So this is why awareness is so important, because the quicker you become aware to the thoughts and the vibrations that you're aligning to and creating with, the quicker you can adjust. And that's all it is. Simple choice, simple adjustment. Not going into a TP, sitting on the floor for hours, saying mantras and prayers for days on end, and doing all these things to scold yourself first before you start to change it again. But just to change it. change it now. That's the power you've got. You are your power. Your thoughts, your voice, your words, your choice is your power. So use them wisely and to your betterment. Okay, take care, everybody, and I will see you next round. Okay, and flick me a question if you've got them. I'm good to answer for about another hour. Okay, take care. Bye.